How do the concepts of Buddhism reinforce the concept of panentheism? Buddhism establishes the idea that the intolerance of suffering is so important an issue, it must become a major focus in one's journey through life. Reinforcing panentheism? Absolutely. For what better way to understand the significance of the need to eliminate suffering than to make the causative force, or God, so big, so omnipresent, there is nowhere to put the effects of suffering we generate other than within her, or him, it. Panentheism assigns true omnipresence to the causative force. If the causative force is all present, then everything that happens within the causative force. And there is nothing outside the causative force that isn't, or within, that the causative force is unaware of. As such, the causative force may become aware or even empathize with what others or with what occurs within her. This is a form of process philosophy. This is why panentheism and process theology have much in common, with a few minor distinctions. This is truly a dramatic perception. No wonder Buddhists sense the significance of the need to eliminate suffering. With the acceptance of a truly omnipresent causative force, suffering is something the causative force herself experiences. She feels the pain, loneliness, heartache, loss, frustration, humiliation, and depression suffering generates. No wonder Buddhists sense the importance of this issue. Some states of suffering are caused naturally. This can be alleviated by an understanding, a deep-seated sense of faith. The better things lie ahead. Some states of suffering are caused by the actions we impose upon others. These states of suffering go to a much deeper level than the suffering caused by natural events, for they occur through the intentional acts of subjugation, abuse, domination, deception, control, intimidation, and by the simple desire to hurt each other. Once we expand on the size of the causative force, or God, and realize that we are within her, him, it, are a part of her, actually hurt her as we hurt others, we will have no choice but to alter our actions towards others, pieces of the causative force. The Buddhist concept of dedicating of one's life to the elimination of suffering is not just noble, it is crucial to us as individuals, to our species, to our environment, to other life forms in the heavens, and to the causative force herself. Classical theists often demonize other religions, and that is another distinction that can be made. Symbiotic panentheism does not. But how do we know that what we do affects the causative force? If you're located within the causative force, what other logical possibility could there be? Even if the pain were not directly felt, would not a causative force feel some form of empathy or pain should her creations intentionally murder, steal, rape, subjugate, abuse, or torment others she created? What does Buddhism reinforce about the significance of existence, life? Buddhism gives us the understanding that the significance of life and the impact it generates is so important that we must focus upon reducing suffering, the negative aspects of life. The idea of all humans having a soul is tied to eternity and provides a whole new way of looking at the individual. Now, the individual is not important because they are alive, but rather the individual is important because the individual is tied to eternity. The idea of being connected to eternity changed the direction of our behavior. A tie to eternity meant we needed to consider our action because our actions now might affect our state of existence later. Why this was so was not totally understood, but Buddhists sensed this to be true. Process theologians recognize this as well. As such, Buddhists further opened up the idea that life was significant, and allowing the suffering in life would have major impact upon the existence in eternity. In short, Buddhism further advanced the concept that life had value, significance. As we increase the idea regarding how big our universe is, and in turn how big our Creator is, we enlarge what we view as the potential of existence. The Buddhist ideas were very significant, therefore, in terms of reinforcing the significance of life. Now suffering, a part of life itself, was no longer to be taken lightly or just ignored, for its existence impacted upon eternity. Life under Buddhism took on a greater significance, and one aspect of life, suffering, became the focal point.